This 82-year-old Jewish lady was set on fire in America simply for being Jewish. Well, good day and welcome to this edition of Israel Frontlines Update. I'm Bishop Robert Stearns. I am back from an unplanned month in Israel for one of our leadership missions, and got stuck there in the middle of the war, the 12-day war, as it's being called, between Israel and the Islamic Republic of Iran. So that was kind of an amazing experience that harkens to the title of this weekly program, Israel Frontlines Update. I seek to bring you frontlines information on the ground. And those of you who follow me regularly, you go on that journey with me. You were with me in the bomb shelters. You were with me as the rockets were firing overhead and there for the last month. So I'm glad to be back stateside, although honestly, I miss Israel. I miss Jerusalem. The spirit of moral clarity and the spirit of resilience that exists within the heart of the Israeli people is extraordinary. And it's a privilege to walk alongside them and to experience that firsthand. If you're new, hit the like button, the subscribe button, the share button. I am not a journalist. I am not a politician. I am a pilgrim who went to Israel 32 years ago for the first time, and my life was changed. I invite you on this journey of bearing witness in history to this unique people, the Jewish people, and this unique land, the land of Israel, and what it says to the whole human family. The fact of the matter is that the Jewish people play a unique place in history, both because the vast majority of our planet has been impacted by them in terms of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. All three of these Abrahamic faiths harken back to the root of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the roots of the Jewish people. And then the intense persecution, the unbelievable persecution that this tiny group of people, think about this, the Jewish population today still has not reached pre-Holocaust levels. Less than 16 million Jews on the planet today. This tiny group of people, and yet why are they so persecuted? Why? In virtually every newspaper in our world right now, we're going to get to the news this week, but I mean, Australia, horrific anti-Semitic attacks occurring in Australia. What in the world? Why how many Jews are in Australia? I don't know, not many. And yet somehow in this island nation of Australia, the Jews are centered upon and attacked. That causes me to pause and reflect and dig deeper. And where some people dig deeper and see conspiracies, all kinds of wild conspiracies, the fact of the matter is, if you go a little deeper, and if you actually journey alongside the land of Israel, which means not only journeying alongside the Jewish Israelis, but journeying alongside Arab Israelis, which means Muslim Arabs, Christian Arabs, Druze Arabs, Baha'i Israelis, all these various different faith and ethnic components that make up the state of Israel, and then outside of the current contiguous state and dealing with the disputed territories, not the occupied territories. That is a legal misnomer. That is incorrect by international law. When we talk about Judea and Samaria, the West Bank, so-called, these are disputed territories because these are territories that were acquired during a conflict. And the final status of those territories has yet to be resolved. My point is, you have to go deeper. And that's what this program does every single week. We invite you into a deeper conversation, into a deeper look to become educated on what is happening on the ground. So hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button, and journey alongside of this very, very extraordinary land and people, the land of Israel and the people of Israel. The first highlight today is, I've had a hard time even saying it this week. I am emotionally touched and just honestly, I have a hard time even speaking this week. But horrifically, Karen Diamond, the 82-year-old victim of the anti-Semitic attack in Boulder, Colorado, died of her wounds. The fact that this 82-year-old lady, this 82-year-old Jewish lady, was set on fire in America simply for being Jewish. I mean, this is inconceivable. Can I ask you a question? Can you imagine if a gay person in America had been set on fire? Set on fire. Can you imagine how the headlines would be across this nation? Or fill in some other minority, fill in some other special interest, small minority. Here is an 82-year-old Jewish lady who is simply walking, supporting the hostages. This was not a violent protest. They were on a solidarity walk. There's one of these walks in Buffalo where I live every week. 82 years old, burned alive. America, where is our conscience? Who are we as a nation, number one, that this could happen in our nation, but number two, where is the outrage? Where are the headlines? This has been a hard one for me to deal with this week. 29 victims from this alleged attacker, Mohammed Salman, who, as I understand it, allegedly was in the country illegally. And this is the reality of America in our time. Now, listen to this next story because I want you to see the correlation. MIT, again, we are dealing with American institutions of higher learning. We're talking about high-level learning centers. MIT was the gold standard, right, of science and technology. 2 Jewish students have had to sue the college because their teacher harassed them simply for being Jewish. Allegedly, their professor, unbelievable, posted the student's name and photo on social media and tagged Al Jazeera. Allegedly. The suit claims that the incidents resulted in the student being harassed by strangers in public, including at his child's daycare. The student then emailed the president of MIT, Sally Kornbluth, to tell her that he was frightened for himself and his family, but the lawsuit alleges that the school's president never responded to the message. I want you to draw a correlation when you have institutes of higher learning in America allowing anti-Semitism to run rampant. You're going to expect to see that then manifest in physical assaults in the streets of America. And indeed, horrifically, that is what we are seeing. And so these 2 Jewish students are suing MIT, and we will see the result of that lawsuit. Going out now to kind of the macro, going to geopolitical news, very interestingly, there are strong chances that Israel and Syria will sign some type of normalization treaty or peace treaty in the next months. Now, if you remember, Bashar al-Assad, and by the way, where is he? Like, he's just disappeared off the map. He was the dictator, folks, who murdered in cold blood over 500,000 of his own people. This is the stuff that you just cannot wrap your brain around. We don't know the exact death toll in Gaza, okay? The media wants to shout out this number of 50,000. That number is given by the Gazan Health Ministry, which is run by Hamas. So how are you going to trust those numbers when they come from a terrorist organization that has raped and pillaged and murdered babies? Even if we take those numbers, which I would dispute we should not, but let's take the numbers. How many of those are Hamas members? How many of those are Hamas members? Certainly tens of thousands. Here's Bashar al-Assad, 500,000. 500,000 people murdered. Where were the protests? Where was Harvard? Where was Columbia? Where was MIT? Nobody cares. Nobody cares when Arabs kill Arabs or where Muslims kill Muslims. Nobody speaks out. Nobody cares when Muslims kill Christians. Nobody speaks out. But when Jews, in an act of self-defense, in a war that was not started by them, when Jews act defensively, the whole world goes on fire. Well, that was a tangent. The point is Bashar al-Assad is no more. Supposedly he's somewhere in Russia. Who knows where he is? I'm sure he's in hiding. I think I heard that his wife and children are in Paris or something. The bottom line is that Israel and Syria may sign some type of normalization. Folks, in the middle of how bad things are, we are witnessing the potential of a brand new Middle East. The Abraham Accords, this potential shift in Syria, other things that we are seeing here. According to a Syrian source, this historic agreement would normalize relations between Syria and Israel. This would be a game changer in the region. Perhaps some of these radical Islamic regimes are finally understanding that the path forward is a path that acknowledges the Jewish state of Israel, just as the Jewish state of Israel acknowledges the dozens of Muslim states around it. There are dozens of Muslim nations around Israel that Israel fully acknowledges, and there's one Jewish state in the world. So we'll see and keep an eye on that development. There are reports that this week there is a deal in the works. President Trump is working hard on a deal to see the Gazan hostages released and some type of ceasefire, permanent ceasefire. So we're tracking that. We are following that closely and we'll keep you up to date. It says Israel has agreed to the necessary conditions. This is from President Trump. Israel has agreed to the necessary conditions to finalize the 60-day ceasefire, during which time we will work with all parties to end the war and indeed, of course, free the hostages. One final unbelievable story out of Virginia. An American elementary school, one of the top private schools in Northern Virginia, allegedly expelled 3 Jewish students. These were, as I understand it, siblings. According to the complaint, bullies taunted an 11-year-old, 11 years old. Can you let that sink in? Bullies taunted an 11-year-old girl, Jewish girl, just going to elementary school for being Israeli. They called the Jews baby killers, and they told her that they deserved to die because of what is happening in Gaza. Allegedly, the bullies in this school told this 11-year-old girl that everyone in this school is against the Jews and Israel, and that's why they hate you. The other children taunted her about the death of her uncle, saying that they were glad that he died in the October 7th attack, even though he had died years earlier. According to the complaint, the 6th grade girl's history class had created a drawing of Adolf Hitler, representing an image of a strong historic leader. You cannot make this stuff up. So based on these alleged complaints, the parents met with the headmaster of the school, who took no action. Later, someone hung a Palestinian flag in the gym. After the parents' second complaint, the headmaster allegedly told the parents to tell their daughter to toughen up. 2 days later, the headmaster allegedly sent the parents an email saying that all three of their children, now this went from one daughter to all three children, were expelled effective immediately. I'm going to be doing more investigation into that story. It is extraordinary, the things that are going on in America. But if you can't draw a connection between the 82-year-old Karen Diamond being burned to death in the streets of Boulder, Colorado, two MIT students being targeted by their professor at MIT, and an 11-year-old girl and her two siblings being expelled, allegedly simply because they were Jewish and stood up for their rights as human beings, then you have not awakened to the threat of anti-Semitism and what it poses to our nation right now. And that's why week after week after week, the Israel Frontlines update comes to you and implores you to get educated on these issues. If anything, I warn us against extremism in any form. There are extremist individuals in every class of people. There are extremist Christians, extremist Hindus, extremist Muslims, extremist Jews, extremist woke atheists. But at this particular moment, there is a level of extremism mostly manifesting, in my opinion, within a radicalized Islam and a radicalized wokeism that is resulting in a level of anti-Semitism that should cause any thinking person who cares about basic human rights to get involved. And that is why I get on airplanes, and that is why I come to you every week, try to come every week. My tech team gets mad at me because I don't make it every single week, but I try. And my prayer is that you, my friend, will get involved. Go to eagleswings.org/donate, eagleswings.org/donate, and get involved today. Take a stand on the right side of history, and I'll see you here next week on the Israel Frontlines Update.